All right, friends, we're doing another video on guess who? Jason Blaha. That's right. The lifting gym slave, fitness gym slave, whatever, diet slave, the unhealthy slave. All right, man. Let's see what he has to say in this video. He says, polyunsaturated fats show improvements in body composition in the research. Yeah, a lot of this type of, when it comes to food industry, don't trust people when it comes to money. Let's review this video.
That really needs to be said, and I have to...
Oh, I forgot to say, how's that working out for him, body composition, these polyunsaturates? Yeah.
Question on this, if people have read the literature reviews and looked at the data on healthy fats, because it is pretty conclusive. And I've oftentimes told people, look, there's a couple approaches you can take. You can actually do a very, very low-fat diet, right? You can do very low-fat diets, and that also means, of course, you're not eating a bunch of refined sugars or refined fructose. Or you can do diets that are higher in healthy fats. But, people are like, well, how are you defining a healthy fat? And I think that's important because, people will get upset and they'll say things like, well, this study and that, there's a lot of conflicting data on saturated fat and certain things with health markers. There is a lot of conflicting data on that. But when it comes to certain things like body composition, the data is not conflicting. When it comes to insulin sensitivity, the data is not conflicting. Fats are absolutely associated with those things, and it makes sense on the insulin sensitivity side because anything that promotes insulin sensitivity is good for body composition. We know this. Every bodybuilder and every bodybuilding coach knows this. They literally go out of their way to make sure that these people to be as jacked and as lean as possible.
Yeah, okay, we know that insulin sensitivity, you want to be insulin sensitive. Okay, what does this have to do with that? I have no clue what he's talking about.
Use any substance they can to promote insulin sensitivity and nutrient partitioning. Like that is a major part of the chemistry there. But
insulin sensitivity and nutrient partitioning? Well, these are nice fancy words he's throwing around. Did that make sense to any of you?
Food affects that tremendously, not just pharmaceutical substances, and we need to truly understand that.
Oh, not just unnatural things like pharmaceutical industry, drugs. Yes, you had to bring that into the equation, right? Being so unnatural already as you are, eating an unnatural diet, why not throw in the unnatural drugs too, right? Be totally unnatural. Totally artificial.
And that the latter absolutely applies to everyone else.
Looking at this, can you imagine people in the natural world looking into the artificial world, this unnatural world, and seeing this guy, and they would just look at him. They would laugh at him, man. They would just go, what is this guy? Pharmaceutical, natural pharmaceuticals, these drugs, these foods and everything to create this nasty body that he has. There's no body there anyways, whatever. There's nothing going on there. But they would just look at him, and meanwhile, they're natural. They're eating like animals out in wild, enjoying nature, having a great life, enjoying themselves. Wow, in the natural world. Meanwhile, this guy's in his garage, and in a natural world, he's locked himself up in this prison, taking unnatural drugs and eating unnatural diet, unnatural food, yeah, nasty things. No wonder why he looks so artificial.
Outside of that, absolutely applies. So
look, it's not hard to peg out artificial people. I do remember when I finally, I finished my bodybuilding thing, what I wanted to do. I got to 285, and then I moved down to Mexico, and I lived there. And I pretty much, I didn't just live in Mexico. I lived in other places in Central South America, but one of the first places I moved down was Mexico. But I remember seeing this young kid. He was on steroids. He looked steroidal. I looked like a brute. I looked big and fucking huge. Like, I did have that bodybuilder look, but I didn't look like steroids. I looked more like what you would call a strongman. It didn't look like a steroid kind of look, I didn't have that hump on the back and all that kind of weird stuff that steroids exude. And so they exude an artificial, weird look. It's too refined. It's too cosmetic. You understand me? It's just too cosmetic, like a woman putting cosmetics on her face. You just know she's wearing cosmetics on her face. That's all. You just know she is.
The data is pretty overwhelming. What food?
And I remember him looking at me, and I just looked at him, and I thought to myself, oh, man, you faked it, bro. Get it? You faked it, man. I just knew. Yeah.
Foods reduce insulin sensitivity. Saturated fat. Okay? Do some types of saturated fat do some more than others? Yes. What foods seem to be benign for that? Monounsaturated fats from animals. Ooh. How about certain polyunsaturated fats from animals? Omega-6.
What is he talking about? From animals? What is that? He's trying to make animals like animal stuff. It's shit. Polyunsaturated. It's saturated. Saccharides. Fuck. Man, he's gonna say like butter, polyunsaturated. Butter's very healthy for you. What are you talking about? All animal products are healthy for you. Yeah, I'm not saying butter. Yes, it's been whatever created, but it's from animal stuff. It's natural.
From animal sources is not beneficial to insulin sensitivity.
Yes, anything from animal sources are beneficial to insulin sensitivity and everything else. Anything animal based, that's natural. That hasn't been tampered with.
But from plant sources, it is. The difference between
because plants have toxins in them. That's how they protect themselves. Hello.
arachidonic acid
and the plants that we're eating, we would never eat them as hunters in the forest because they're engineered on farms. Cannot be found in the wild. They're being engineered on farms. You understand me? They're engineered by humans. They engineer them.
linoleic acid, right? Big difference. Monounsaturated from plants seems to slightly enhance insulin sensitivity.
No, nothing from plants enhances insulin sensitivity. They are anti-nutrient. They will make you insulin resistant because they carry sugars and toxins in them.
Okay. All polyunsaturated fats from plants improve insulin sensitivity.
He's lying to you. Absolutely not. That is a lie. Look what happens to vegan compilation. Are they insulin sensitive? Are they insulin sensitive when their hair's falling out in their nails, their pee-pee's not working, they've lost energy and all that kind of stuff? You're not building muscles on a vegan diet, I'm telling you, on plant-based diet. No. It ain't happening unless you're taking steroids. You can fake it with some carbohydrate. Fake carbohydrate muscles, that's about it.
Omega-6, omega-3.
Yeah, animal food is filled with omega-3s, yes.
So when you start looking at the data, I was reading a meta-analysis on that the other day. I might try to even find it by the time this video comes up again. I have it saved, but by the time these videos come up, I don't know.
He never produces any of these things that he's talking about to show proof.
Time to refine stuff. I think people forget that. They're like, well, you just made the video.
Yeah, I have to make time to find stuff, but then he'll make an excuse and say, I can't post it because YouTube will strike me and take me down. Meanwhile, I'm posting them everywhere. No, YouTube is not taking you down for posting that stuff. No.
You know, like, I have 78 videos, informative videos, sitting in my upload queue right now. 78. But
he has 78 videos sitting in his queue. He's a liar. He's a pathological liar. So no, in fact, he's making these videos as he speaks. He has no life. He's sitting at home making these videos. They're voiceovers.
Yeah, it's easy enough to find, actually.
It's easy to make voiceovers and keep using the same workout videos. Yeah.
It was a meta-analysis done 2 years ago. And they were looking at correlation and even do...
He's one to speak. Look at his legs, his diseases. Look at this, his sarcopenia. Look at this body. This is an old man body. You think those weights are going to change that body, man? This is just insane watching this.
Multivariate analysis with fat intake, and what they found was absolutely that to be true. They didn't find...
Yes, Blaha, what did they find?
Animal source omega-3, marine source, so the EPA and DHA, to necessarily be correlated with body composition. But what they found was that they found
What did they find?
was that
What did they find, Jason?
just like with insulin resistance, who has the most muscle and the least fat? People who eat larger amounts of plant source polyunsaturated fats.
That's absolutely not true. The people that have the least amount of fat are people that eat animal products, high fat animal and protein diet. They have the least amount of fat, and they're the healthiest and the strongest.
Now, whenever you
And it's been like that for 2 million years. 2 million years before we started farming in the last 2,000 years. I mean, Europeans started farming. I don't know in North America when they started. 16th century? 16th, when they landed here. The Pilgrims, when did they start farming? 16th century, okay. Last couple hundred years. Did the natives farm that lived here? Fuck no, man. You want to know what they did? They ate buffalo, bro. That's what they ate. They never farmed. Why the hell would they farm? They're carnivores. They were healthy and strong.
say that, people jump in and go, "You're saying seed oils are good?" No, I'm not saying seed oils are optimal. I'm not telling you that a refined fat source is ever ideal. And when I say that, you better understand that butter is complete trash because it is saturated fat that is also refined and stripped of.
Oh, here we go. Butter is absolute trash. Well, compared to what he's eating, I would say it's probably the best because what he's eating is trashy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Butter has nutrients in it. It has like A, C, D, E, and K. Has vitamin D in it. It's important for you.
It's nutrients. I mean, that one should be a no-brainer. It's sheer stupidity to argue the opposite, but I'm going to leave that alone. People, of course, counter that with, "Well, what am I supposed to fry my food in?" Well, maybe if you quit frying your foods in fat, you wouldn't be fat and diabetic. Like maybe that's part of the solution. Stop doing that. Then you don't have to ask the question. My automatic assumption the first time someone says, "Well, what fats am I supposed to fry my food in then?" Well, I don't care.
It's easy if you're going to fry food. If you are going to fry food, which is unnatural to do, it's now changing. Its chemical balance is changing now because you're frying it. It's not in its natural state. But if you're going to fry, you might as well fry in butter. If you're gonna fry animal products, fry it in butter. Why would you fry animal products in oil, in like plant food oils and things? It's gonna taste like crap, bro. It's gonna taste like crap. That's right. Yep.
Because you're going to be fat and diabetic because you fry your foods in fats. So I don't care. Go be diabetic and have your foot amputated. All right. For those of us who want to be...
Yes, eat plant foods and all these artificial man-made foods and everything, and go become diabetic and get your leg amputated. Exactly, yes. That's what happens when you're drinking these Coca-Colas and whatever else and plants and things and whatever. That's what's going to happen to you.
Healthy, let's just not do that.
Look at the sores on his feet. Pretty soon they're going to be amputating his legs with all those scabies he has on there, those whatever scratch marks.
All right, so over to the point.
Why do you think he's wearing socks here now all of a sudden? Why is he wearing socks there?
Plant source polyunsaturated fats heavily correlated with higher lean tissue and less body fat. Right up behind it, the monounsaturated.
There we go. You can see his feet right here. Look at the marks down there. All the red spots and sores and things. Must really itch.
Fats from plants. Saturated fat intake.
It's almost like eating poison ivy when you eat like these oils and these plants and everything. It's like eating poison ivy. Especially when you're an older person, that's when it affects you. See, this shit never affected him when he was younger. It affects you after 40. Ask yourself this question: why does it affect you after 40? Because your body doesn't repair itself anymore. The repair mechanism isn't the same the way it was when it was younger. Yeah. Plus, your body's like, you know what? We don't need you around anymore, man. You used, you procreated. It's time to die, and that's it.
All types in general, just as a general trend, higher body fat. So what I'm suggesting is, if a person is not going to go the really low fat route, and they don't want to eat as much carbohydrate, it actually makes a whole lot of sense to be looking at these other things. People say, what do you mean? I mean, soy, I won't say, I say soy is great. Great ratio there. Black seeds, nuts, walnuts, right? These are all really high in plant source omega-3. Any nuts are good. Olive oils, right? You come back over Mediterranean diet right there, all the monounsaturated fats and polyphenols. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, and we noticed when this has been studied in the lab, it makes sense because not only are we dealing with better insulin sensitivity, we're dealing with better fat oxidization. Which fats do you think you oxidize most efficiently, like burn as fuel? The ones that I just listed in order. We struggle to burn saturated fat and certain types more than others. That's the hardest for us to burn. It is most difficult for us to burn in addition to the fact that it leads to insulin resistance. Okay, you're more likely to wear it. More likely to burn the others. So normally it's like we burn carbohydrates and don't store them. To a lesser degree, that can be true of certain types of fats. We're more likely to burn them as a fuel source. We oxidize.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quicker. So that is probably largely a factor. We burn them easier, and they improve insulin sensitivity and lower.
I could tell you these sugars and man-made stuff will cause your mitochondria to dysfunction at some point. They'll become dysfunctional. They function better on animal fat. Yeah, they just do.
Inflammation. Okay. Again, the data on this is emerging is pretty good. This is why there's debates as to whether, we should do really low fat or not, because there's different data on different types of fats. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Well, the part where he said that butter was trash, I mean, can you imagine? An animal product is trash, but yet the vegan food and everything, the processed, ultra-processed food that he's eating is good food, is good for you. And these engineered plants, fruits, and vegetables. Unbelievable, this guy, isn't he? Incredible. I'll see you in the next one, man. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Helps with the algorithm. Comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends.